Did Notch steal Minecraft from an innocent person and ruin his life? Is the Ender Dragon hiding a horrible secret that nobody's meant to know? These are just some of Minecraft's iceberg theories that I'll be diving into today to discover the truth. But before we dive into the deep end, let's start with our first mystery. You see, just 1 month before Minecraft was released, there was a similar game called Infiniminer. And we just happened to download that game, and we're gonna run 3 tests to get to the bottom of this. Now, the first thing we can do here is select one of 4 classes to play. So we're gonna go ahead and pick a miner and jump in. Now, obviously, when I jump inside the game, you can see almost immediately how similar this is to Minecraft. And when we keep in mind the fact that it came out a month early, it doesn't seem so crazy that Notch maybe saw this game and thought,
maybe I could steal that and become a secret billionaire.
What happens if we dig straight down in Infiniminer? Well, as we know in Minecraft, it's a bad idea. If it's also a bad idea here, it's another indication that he stole from this game. Obviously, you can see there's no animations, all right? There's no pickaxe even needed. You just start with it, so it's not quite as detailed as Minecraft, but there we go. There's some stone. All right, we're very far in this tunnel. There's not a lot going on down here. And the interesting thing is, it seems like this, oh! Look at that, you fall out of the world straight into the void and you die. Click to respawn. So digging straight down allows you to dig through the world. It almost seems in a way like Notch saw that and said, what if I just put a barrier there, bedrock, and then people wouldn't die? Maybe they'd be happier, enjoy the game more. Now, our first test kind of showed us that digging straight down doesn't do a whole lot, but what I noticed when I fell down is that there appears to be an edge of the world, and that does seem to be correct. Look at this. You can actually walk off the edge. So this world is not actually infinitely generated, but according to some Reddit posts, the caves in Infiniminer are where Herobrine was originally found. So we're gonna go ahead and run into some caves here and see if we find anything at all ordinary or out of the ordinary. You've got a giant boulder down here, but I'm not seeing anything yet about Herobrine. That's not to say he's not down here though. I was just kidding with you guys, but I was just making sure you were paying attention, okay? This is getting a little bit creepy down here. For me, I didn't see any hints of Herobrine. No hints, no clues, no peeking around the corner, no nothing. So Herobrine, I don't think's in the game, but we don't even know if he's in Minecraft. Now guys, for our next test, we need to go see if we can identify if there's any lava in the world. And if you look at the last clip, as I fell into the giant abyss, you can see that there was definitely something that looked a little bit like lava, but I don't know if it was. By the way, Notch, if you are watching this video, please leave a comment below to tell us the truth. Did you actually steal the game? That definitely looks almost exactly like Minecraft lava. I just gotta get lucky and like literally dig down on it. So let's just keep going and see. Oh, guys, look. We finally found some lava. It took me a really long time to get it. This looks very similar to Minecraft lava. The way it just flows out of nowhere, the way it falls into the ground. I'm gonna touch it and see if it does actually any damage to us here. Yeah, it instantly kills you. So exact same mechanics as Minecraft. And less than a month later, this was released. And this was Minecraft, right? This is the very first alpha version. So let's go ahead and see how similar this is to Infiniminer and if it's possible that Notch created this entire world in just 3 months. So let's see. Also, no tool, the exact same breaking mechanic, but this time he added a little particle splash and the blocks are slightly more detailed, but still not too detailed. Let's go ahead and see what happens if we dig straight down in the very first version of Minecraft that was released 3 months later. Again, it's like almost the same, but it's just a little bit better. Like he just added some stone in, added some bedrock in. He said, hey, here's some issues. I'm gonna go ahead and fix them. Playing these two side by side is actually ridiculous because you can literally feel the movement, the way the mouse moves. It's literally like he just took the game and said, hey, I bet I can make that slightly better and just pulled it off. Now on the service of the last game, you could see that the world was stuck in one chunk. And if you walk around this game, it also seems like Notch did that same thing. But instead of trapping you on a chunk with a void, Notch traps you on a chunk where you're surrounded by water, creating a more realistic and friendly environment than one that's kind of deadly and scary inside of space while adding some trees. I am curious, can I go in the water in this version? What happens? Do I die? You can't even go in the water. So it actually is the almost exact same dimensions. So let's review for a second. 1 month after Infiniminer, Notch comes out with a game that has slightly better mechanics in every way, but they're also all identical. A limited island size, lava that kills you, blocks that break instantly with no tool, blocks that can be placed without any tool. It is clear to me that I can safely say, yes, Notch did steal the idea and got away with one of the biggest heists in Minecraft history. But Notch wasn't done there, because just 2 years later, he released what might become his biggest mistake ever. A theory emerged that Minecraft Endermen were released from the Farlands when they were accidentally added to the game in 2011. Players said because of their glitchy teleporting, their stretched size, it made sense that that's the home they came from. And the theory didn't really gain a whole lot of ground until Notch tweeted this. He said, V is petitioning me to change the name from Endermen to Farlanders. How about we just rename the Farlands to the End instead? This confirmed players' suspicions that they were linked to the far lands. But today we're going to investigate this even deeper by performing 3 experiments to see how connected they really are and find the truth behind Minecraft Enderman. Now our first test is very simple. This is the far lands, and our job is to simply see if we can identify any sort of Endermen that are naturally spawning, maybe a significantly higher number than you would normally see in Minecraft. We're gonna fly through these and keep your eyes peeled for anything strange in terms of mob spawns. Difficulty is definitely on hard, we have confirmed. Anything weird, Endermen, villagers, cities, something weird that gives us a clue that this is where they're actually from, other than that which I just built. Oh, there's our first Enderman, folks. Behaving pretty normally. I mean, I will say he does fit into this environment a little better than the normal Minecraft environment, but to me, that's not enough proof to say, yes, this is for sure a connection. We're not learning anything new. I don't see a nest, I don't see a hub. So guys, because these Endermen do teleport so quickly, it's very difficult to identify them and see if there's any sort of breeding ground or creation machine or just anything like that. I would say for our first experiment here, I'm not really seeing evidence that proves to me Endermen are formed, created, or otherwise glitched from the far lands, but we've got 2 more experiments here. Let's see. Here we go, another one, guys. What I really want to know is, for our second test, do the Endermen behave any differently inside of the far lands when being observed? Obviously, we're in spectator, so in theory, this mob won't know we're here. We're gonna go ahead and take over its vision really quick by clicking on it. This is where things start to get a little bit creepy. The reverse vision of Minecraft Endermen means that if they were inside the end and I take over the view of one of these, the vision might actually look somewhat normal, and it does. The Minecraft Endstone suddenly looks just like cobblestone. The Minecraft Endermen suddenly become a little bit more human than what we thought before. It's almost like they became stuck in this weird state of Minecraft. It's very, very strange to me. Look at how the obsidian tower now looks like endstone from this viewpoint. Look at how the fire becomes blue. Now, if we combine those 2 things that we just learned, that Endermen see reverse vision, and it literally makes the end look like it's the overworld look like the end, and we found this very creepy section here that looks like they could be from, whether they were Minecraft entities that were cursed in like some in-between life state. The fact that they can pick up blocks makes it creepy, but what does the Farlands have to do with it? Well, after doing these tests, it's clear to me that Endermen used to be human, and it's clear that the Farlands seem to be the giant cataclysmic event that transformed them from a human player or a villager into their cursed being they are today. And that is why they've moved into the end, which means they're uncomfortable in the overworld because to them, it feels like the wrong place. When Notch released the Farlands back in 2011, he mistakenly also released Endermen with it. And that is why they're in the game, why they're humanoid, why they can pick up blocks, and most importantly, why they're in the end. Now, speaking of the end, haven't you ever wondered why a dimension called the end doesn't actually have an end? I mean, the only way to actually leave it is to kill the end dragon, and that means everything in there is trapped forever. Only Steve can escape. Everyone else is a prisoner, potentially, to the end dragon. You know how I talked about taking over Enderman vision changes things? Well, one thing I noticed is that when you take over their vision, the other Enderman's eyes become green. Now, I'll tell you why that's weird in a second. First, let's take a look at what color the dragon becomes from the Enderman eyes. The Enderman's eyes turn green, and so does the mouth. They all turn green. And you know what's even weirder about the green here? Well, if I take a Minecraft sword and I were to kill one of these guys, they're gonna drop a little item, an ender pearl or an ender eye. So guys, what we see here is that everything in the end actually looks green when seen through the views of the Endermen. They look green, their eyes look green, they see each other as having green eyes, and that's pretty interesting because that specific shade of green we're seeing right now is actually tied to villains. You see, if you look at all of Disney villains throughout history, there's a shade of green they use in all of them. This shade of green is the exact same shade of green we see from the Endermen, which implies that they are evil, they are probably possessed, and the leader, who has the most green of them all when you look at it, is the End Dragon. I'm not sure that you guys are convinced yet, so we have a little bit more evidence here to provide that it's possible that everything in the end has been taken over by the dragon. Let's listen to this sound file here by the Enderman. Look for the eye. What he's possibly saying here is look for the eyes to know if they're evil or friendly. Let's listen to something else. Help me. He's literally begging to be saved. They've been totally possessed, vision swapped, so they only see green, the evil shade that represents villains, because the End Dragon wanted to take them over to create an army, an entire dimension around just the dragon. And that is why the only way to escape is to kill the End Dragon. But if you still don't believe me, there's something else we're going to test today, and that's killing the End Dragon very quickly, because there's a rumor out there that some Endermen will actually say thank you when you kill the dragon. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a strong sword. All right, guys, listen closely. One more, maybe 2 hits. It's possible they said thank you. That literally sounded like you could have said thank you. But if you look around, you'll see that the Enderman in front of us literally just vanished, didn't teleport anywhere, bro just took off. You'll notice the achievement we got is called Free the End. I think Minecraft is making it abundantly clear that by clearing out the dragon egg, the guardian to the portal, you are literally saving every single creature in here and allowing them to come to the overworld. If you're still not convinced, once you kill the end dragon, end portal gateways also open up in the corners that seemingly come out of nowhere, implying that these were here the whole time but guarded by some sort of spell by the end dragon. I think it's clear the end dragon is evil and the egg deserves to be absolutely destroyed and not taken back to your base because you don't want to risk another end dragon being born. Now, while in one dimension Endermen are completely trapped, things don't actually get better when we check out other dimensions. For example, there might be even darker secrets on the regular overworld in Minecraft. I mean, in Minecraft 1.19, they released a brand new model called the Allay, and this Allay looks really similar to the Vex. Certain players in Minecraft started making different threads comparing how the new Vex model, and of course the original model, looks so unbelievably similar, it's hard to believe these are even different creatures. Things start to get a little crazier when you realize that pillagers may actually be trapping Allays. In fact, if you go to villager outposts like the one that I just discovered here, it's not uncommon to see Allays trapped in cages. The biggest theory right now is that pillagers are trapping these Allays and performing experiments on them, which eventually turns them into Vexes. But before I tell you the weird thing between these two, I'm gonna spawn a couple of pillagers right outside of these Allays and see if they do anything weird. If we open this up, for example, do the Allays fly in? Do the pillagers try to kill it? Are there any weird experiments they run? We can see it does seem like they're working on creating maybe some sort of new golem, a pumpkin golem perhaps, which is not in the game yet. We also know there's a secret mob in Minecraft called the Illusioner, which is yet to be released and is obviously a magical pillager. But before I show you the weirdest similarity, I want to show you even more weird things between these two, including the sound the two make. This is the Allay sound file, and this is the Vex one. Let's go ahead and put these into a voice editing software to see what happens. As you listen to these two sound clips layer on top of each other, they're set up in a way that it almost sounds like they're having a conversation. We can literally see they are perfectly patterned, that none of them overlap. Listen again, and it actually sounds like a conversation. What's also interesting is the Vex seems to have multiple voices. If you listen very closely, it sounds like there's a lot of sounds. But take a look at this. They hold an iron sword. What other mob can hold an iron sword? Well, not many, but it turns out Allays. But one thing that the Vex can do the Allay can't is go through walls. That is a feature of what, my friends? Ghosts. The only difference is this thing is slightly ghostlier looking and it can go through walls. So does that mean I'm implying to you guys that the pillagers that we just saw are capturing Allays, starving them until they die into a ghost, and that ghost is a Vex? The answer is yes. Now let's set mobs to the side for a second and dig into an even deeper question, one that makes you question the fabric of reality. And that question is, where is Minecraft? I mean, many people say it couldn't be Earth, even though it's got some similarities, because there's monsters and all kinds of crazy things, and the world's infinite and it's not a circle, so Earth is not gonna be possible. Some people say it's also a post-apocalyptic world, but that doesn't make sense either because there's still impossible creatures that exist, like the Vexes we just talked about. The theory here claims that Steve is actually on some sort of fake-generated planet by a higher power created just to observe Steve and watch him play the simulation. This is weird because it actually relates to our real life. Now, if we jump back into our Minecraft game, one thing you're gonna notice is, like I talked about, a lot of similarities. You've got spruce trees, dirt, grass, all the similar things you'd see, even a normal sky with one sun. If it was a different planet, you might expect different suns or a different sort of environment in the sky. But is it possible that the Earth ended, and instead of creating a new Earth, they tried to create a new simulation of Earth, and that is where Minecraft came? But what's even crazier is if you start to think about it a little bit more and you go into survival mode, you start to realize that everything here is really a test to see if humanity will be able to survive in these conditions. I mean, can we break wood? Can we build a house? Can we survive night? These are all tests, almost like a simulation and a training to prepare humans for when we live inside of maybe something like this in the future, when our reality is destroyed by nukes or maybe a third world war. So there's a couple ways we can test that, and one of the ways I'm gonna do it is by seeing if somebody is able to hear me. We've tested this once in the past. Diamonds that I really need or I'm going to quit. We found gold, and that's not that uncommon. Oh my god, we got diamonds! Now that it's 1.20, a newer version, it's possible that things are a little different. I sure would love to see a pig up here. Let's see if there's a pig or anything. I don't know if pigs even spawn here, but let's just see if there's any pigs for a minute. So far, no pigs. Looking for a pig, Minecraft, just looking for a pig. I think that could be too obvious though, because if they were listening to us, wouldn't it make more sense they wouldn't want to show us while we're testing it actively? So I almost think that if we don't see what I'm looking for, it's almost more realistic. Well, let's try something else. I'm gonna say if I dig straight down, I'd love to find a diamond and see if we find a diamond. We'll just dig down and see what happens. We're gonna even use like spectator mode with a replay shot right here just to show you I've never dug here. So if there is literally a diamond, this is not made up, like this is real. So I have no idea what we're gonna see. Very rare if it were a diamond though. Personally, I'm not expecting a diamond, but I am trying to say the word diamond a lot here, just in case the game's listening and in case there is some possibility that we could find something. I'm not seeing it. Obviously, I don't know if we're deep enough. Now we're in the deep slate, so some iron right there. It's not a diamond though. Each time I break a block, I feel like we could be getting closer to one, but no! Still none. I thought we died. I thought we dug out of the bedrock. I mean, you can see we've obviously gone very, very far right now. I've seen literally 2 ores. And we made it to bedrock without a single diamond. So if the game's listening, it either knows that I'm talking about it listening and it's not gonna give us what we need, or it's just made up. So I just created a brand new world and didn't say a single word to give a control test to see if maybe Minecraft would give me what I wanted if it didn't hear me talk. And it still did not give me what I wanted. It didn't read my mind. It didn't use telepathy. I don't know, dude. There's no way that it's listening to me because I'm not seeing what I want. I've tried 2 different holes, 2 different worlds. This one's not working yet, but there's another big test here we're gonna put into effect now. For this next test, we wanna see if there are actually new worlds in Minecraft. And this is gonna help prove if these are really simulations because they would be watching and learning. So if I were to create a world here and destroy literally everything, burn the trees down, kill innocent babies, sheep, everything that I can think of, and then go to a world and try to be really good, am I going to have some sort of karmic debt in that world? We're gonna create another new world completely untouched now, and we're gonna see, are we being punished? Is there any difference? Is it real? Well, we spawned in an ice biome, which is probably one of the worst biomes possible, but I wouldn't say it's a punishment just yet. I mean, it's ugly. It's cold. Definitely not where I want to be. And it's actually like a giant island surrounded by ice. That is unusual, actually. A giant ice island with literally nothing around it. Okay. I mean, it's a little bit out there, to be honest. Not an ideal start for most players, but I think just a quick fly and you're over into the best wood in the game, right? Spruce wood. Everybody loves this stuff. So through these tests, I'm not convinced that Minecraft's listening. I'm also not convinced that it's a giant conspiracy simulation, but I'm not convinced that our lives aren't a simulation. We can't prove that. Finally, we've hit the deepest part of the Minecraft conspiracy iceberg. This is where theories are so crazy and wild, it's hard to believe somebody could come up with them, but they're supported by so many facts, it's hard to deny they're probably true. The one we're gonna be talking about today has been hidden by Minecraft for years. Where do Minecraft mobs actually come from? In fact, let's laser in on a specific mob. Where did Minecraft ghasts come from? Minecraft ghasts are some of the weirdest creatures in the entire game. They're unique in a way that no other mob is. You see, I dug a little bit into the history of ghasts, where they come from and what actually makes them spawn. And in the config file, I found that ghasts actually have a higher percentage chance of spawning in the Soul Sand Valley, which is really interesting because Soul Sand, if you know about the block, first off, literally sounds like souls. You can hear them screaming in the background. And second off, they literally look like souls. So ghasts have a higher chance to spawn in soul sand and they look like ghosts. You see, not only do ghasts look like ghosts, not only do they sound like little screaming souls, all right? If you listen to a ghast scream, listen. Sounds like a pretty tortured soul. And it also looks like a crying face. If you look at the eyes, you can clearly see it's got some sort of tears under it. Is it possible that the ghast is some sort of manifestation of these souls trapped inside of the ghast body? Next up, we're gonna look at the soul campfire to see what sound it makes. It sounds like the campfire's whispering. What this conspiracy is literally stating that the ghast is the trapped souls that have come out and created this being. And if we listen to this, it's not the exact same sound, but it does sound like some sort of a tortured soul that's floating around. So you might be wondering now, how do ghasts actually form if they are some sort of like soul creature that exists inside of the nether? Since we've kind of confirmed here, they do seem to spawn more in soul sand valleys. In fact, that is 100% confirmed according to the Wikipedia article. We can assume that maybe the souls are being trapped inside of this creature because the soul sand valley is full and they literally manifest as creatures of this nature, which explains again why they're sad and ghostly looking. That could also explain why there's a achievement called the Uneasy Alliance, where you have to rescue a ghast. Once you bring a ghast to the overworld, you get this achievement, and if you are creating an uneasy alliance, it makes you wonder why. Why are you allying with them? Are you perhaps rescuing them and bringing them back to freedom where they belong? It's hard to say. Now guys, today we looked at just one iceberg theory from each layer of the iceberg in our first part of this series. Make sure you leave a like, and we'll continue with part 2 where we dive into other iceberg theories, giving you a deep dive to determine if these are true or fake. See you guys next time.